Welcome to our summary of The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. In this book, Ries changes how we think about starting a business. Instead of sticking to a perfect plan, Ries introduces a new approach, one that focuses on being flexible, learning as you go, and adapting to change. He says that traditional methods of planning don't work well in the unpredictable world of startups, where customer needs and market conditions are always changing. By experimenting and getting feedback quickly, the Lean Startup offers practical advice to help new businesses avoid common mistakes and succeed. The Lean Startup method is flexible and focuses on learning, testing, and adapting. Startups are places to test business ideas where you check your assumptions against real-world data. The core of this method is the build, measure, learn loop. Entrepreneurs create simple versions of their products called minimum viable products, MVPs, to test their ideas, get feedback, and decide if they should change their strategy or keep going. This approach helps startups handle uncertainty, reduce waste, and improve their chances of success. The goal is to help entrepreneurs think in a new way, making their businesses more sustainable and successful. In the first chapter, Start, the focus is on what it really means to run a startup. It's not just about creating new products or services, it's about building and managing a company in a very uncertain environment. Traditional management methods, which work well in stable companies, often fail in the fast-changing world of startups. What's needed is a new way to manage, a way that works well in the unpredictable world of startups, where resources are limited, markets change quickly, and strategies need constant testing and adjustment. The Lean Startup method is inspired by lean manufacturing principles used by Toyota. It's about cutting waste and creating value through ongoing learning and testing. By applying these ideas to startups, this approach isn't just about being efficient. It's about being responsive, making smart decisions based on data, and constantly adapting to what's really happening in the market. This greatly increases the chances of success. In the second chapter, Define, the book explains what a startup is, a human institution designed to create a new product or service under conditions of extreme uncertainty. This definition expands the idea of startups beyond small tech companies to include any new and innovative efforts within any organization, no matter its size. Entrepreneurship is redefined as the ongoing pursuit of innovation and the willingness to deal with the unknown, qualities that are important, not just in tech startups, but in any setting. The idea of intrapreneurship is introduced, which means acting like an entrepreneur within a larger company. The story of SnapTax by Intuit shows how a team within a big company can follow the Lean Startup method. Even with Intuit's many resources, the SnapTax team faced the same challenges as any startup, testing their ideas, getting feedback from customers, and overcoming internal obstacles to successfully innovate. The success of SnapTax shows that Lean Startup principles aren't just for small startups. They work for businesses of any size, helping them innovate and create value even when faced with uncertainty. This shows that the Lean Startup method is a universal guide for anyone looking to innovate, whether they're in a small startup or a large corporation. Chapter 3 introduces the idea of validated learning, which changes how progress should be measured in a startup. Instead of just focusing on tasks completed or milestones reached, real progress should be measured by how much a startup learns about its business model and customers. Validated learning means testing the basic assumptions of a startup strategy by getting direct feedback from actual customers. This helps make sure that the product or service being developed truly meets market needs. A great example of this is the story of IMVU, a startup founded by Eric Ries. At first, the IMVU team thought their market wanted an instant messaging add-on for existing platforms, but when they listened to customer feedback, they realized users actually wanted a new platform where they could create new social connections. This insight led IMVU to change course, or pivot, from an add-on to a standalone social network, which was key to their success. The chapter highlights the importance of learning from mistakes and making changes based on what customers say. IMVU's experience shows that even the best plans can fail if they're based on wrong assumptions. The real challenge for startups is to stay flexible, constantly testing and tweaking their approach based on what customers actually need. By focusing on continuous learning and improvement, startups can better handle uncertainty and build a strong foundation for long-term success. In Chapter 4, Experiment, the focus shifts to using the scientific method in the startup world. Instead of sticking to fixed plans, startups should treat their strategies and product development as a series of experiments. This involves setting clear, testable ideas, or hypotheses, running tests to prove or disprove them, and analyzing the results to get useful insights. This process shows why experimentation and testing ideas are so important for dealing with the uncertainties that startups face. Making decisions based on real data and customer feedback, rather than just guessing, can greatly improve a startup's chances of success. This approach is backed up by real examples. For instance, Zappos, the online shoe store, tested the market's willingness to buy shoes online by putting up a simple website that showed inventory from local stores. This test confirmed their idea and gave them valuable insights into customer behavior. Similarly, Kodak Gallery used experiments to test new features for its online photo service, focusing on what customers really wanted. In India, Village Laundry Service tried out a mobile laundry kiosk to learn what customers preferred, leading to a business model they could scale up. Even in the public sector, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, used experiments to test their service ideas before rolling them out more broadly. In Chapter 5, Leap, the book digs into what Ries calls leap of faith assumptions. These are the key but untested beliefs that a startup's business model depends on. It's really important to identify and test these assumptions early in a startup's journey. This helps avoid wasting time and money on ideas that might not work. By making sure these core assumptions are valid, startups can better navigate the complex process of building a new business, ensuring they're meeting real customer needs instead of just hoping their ideas will work. Chapter 6, Test, focuses on how to apply the lean startup approach using the concept of the minimum viable product, or MVP. An MVP is the simplest version of a product that helps entrepreneurs quickly move through the build, measure, learn feedback loop with minimal effort. The goal isn't to create a perfect product with lots of features, but to start learning and testing the main assumptions behind the startup's vision. The MVP is a tool to gather real-world data on how customers behave and what they prefer, which is crucial for improving the product and making smart decisions as the business grows. This chapter also looks at different types of MVPs, each designed for specific learning purposes. For example, Dropbox used a video MVP, a simple video that explained what the product does and why it's valuable. This approach works well for complex products that need a lot of development because it allows the company to see if customers are interested and get feedback without spending too much money up front. Another type of MVP, called the concierge MVP, was used by Food on the Table. This approach involves providing a manual, personalized service to a small group of customers. It gives deep insights into what customers need and helps the entrepreneur confirm the problem and improve the product before going big. Another method, Wizard of Oz testing, used by Aardvark, gives the appearance of a fully functional product. But behind the scenes, humans are doing the work. This is especially useful for testing complicated technologies or ideas without fully developing them first. Each type of MVP is meant to test specific ideas about the product. Entrepreneurs are encouraged to choose the model that helps them learn the most while spending the least. This careful approach ensures that startups create products that truly meet customer needs and can quickly adapt based on feedback, which greatly increases their chances of success in a competitive market. Chapter 7, Measure, builds on the MVP concept by looking at how startups can assess and improve their product development strategies. Instead of focusing on traditional quality metrics, like making the product perfect or adding lots of features, the emphasis is on customer satisfaction and whether the product solves a problem. Even if an MVP isn't polished, it's doing its job if it meets the customer's needs effectively. This approach values learning and feedback more than perfection, guiding entrepreneurs to keep improving their product based on real-world data rather than aiming for an impossible standard from the start. To help startups handle the uncertainties of measuring success, the chapter introduces innovation accounting. Traditional accounting methods, which rely on steady forecasts and fixed goals, don't work well in the unpredictable world of startups. Innovation accounting is a system designed for this environment, helping entrepreneurs track their progress, make informed decisions, and stay on course without depending on misleading financial metrics. Ries also explains the difference between vanity metrics and actionable metrics. Vanity metrics, like total user numbers or page views, can give a false sense of success, but don't provide real insight into the health of the business. On the other hand, actionable metrics show the real impact of specific changes or strategies, allowing startups to make decisions based on solid, useful data. Ries takes a close look at tools like cohort analysis and split test experiments to help startups understand their customers better and make smarter decisions. Cohort analysis groups customers together and tracks how they behave over time, which can show patterns that might be missed if you just look at all of the data at once. This method is really useful for seeing how engaged customers are, how long they stick around, and how valuable they are to the business. Split test experiments, or A/B testing, allow startups to compare different versions of a product or strategy at the same time, making it clear which one works best. Chapter 7 focuses on these methods, giving entrepreneurs practical ways to measure progress with data and adjust their strategies more effectively. This approach increases the chances of success by making sure decisions are based on solid information, not just guesses. In the chapter called Pivot or Persevere, the book discusses one of the most important decisions a startup can face, whether to change direction or keep going as planned. A pivot isn't just a random change, it's a careful adjustment aimed at testing a new idea about the product, business model, or growth strategy. The ability to pivot shows that a startup can adapt and stay strong in a changing business world. What's key here is that these decisions should be based on real data, gathered through methods like innovation accounting and actionable metrics. This way, startups can make sure any changes are backed by solid evidence. The chapter illustrates the power of a successful pivot with examples from companies like Votizen and Wealthfront. Votizen started as a social network for verified voters, but made several strategic pivots based on feedback and data. Over time, it turned into a platform for social lobbying and then into a tool for grassroots political activism, with each pivot getting it closer to a sustainable business model. Wealthfront began as an online game for amateur investors, but pivoted to become a platform that connects investors with professional money managers, opening up a larger and more profitable market. These stories show how pivots can change a startup's direction, helping it find new opportunities and grow by staying flexible. This chapter makes it clear that the choice to pivot or persevere shouldn't be based on gut feeling, but on careful analysis of data. By using tools like innovation accounting and focusing on actionable metrics, startups can get a clear picture of how they're doing, spot problems early, and make informed decisions about their next steps. The ability to pivot is essential for a startup's success, helping it adapt and thrive in the unpredictable world of entrepreneurship. Chapter 9, part of the Accelerate section, talks about the benefits of working with small batches in product development. This approach allows startups to break their work into smaller, easier-to-handle pieces, which helps them learn faster, reduce waste, and improve the quality of their products. Drawing from lean manufacturing ideas like single-piece flow and just-in-time production, the chapter shows how these methods can work well in a startup environment. By keeping batch sizes small, startups can quickly find and fix problems, get feedback from customers faster, and make changes to their products more efficiently. The chapter also introduces the idea of continuous deployment. Continuous deployment means releasing updates in small, frequent steps rather than waiting for one big launch. This method creates a quick feedback loop with customers, which is crucial for testing ideas, seeing how changes work, and learning quickly from what's happening in real time. The focus here is on the importance of fast feedback within the lean startup approach, which helps startups stay flexible and responsive, reducing the risk of investing too much in products that don't meet market needs. To show the benefits of working in small batches, the chapter shares examples from different industries. One example is IMVU, a startup where Eric Ries used continuous deployment, which means releasing updates several times a day. This allowed them to get quick feedback from users, helping them make fast, database decisions on product changes. Another example is SGW DesignWorks, a company that focuses on rapid prototyping. They use small batches to speed up design and production, allowing them to make changes quickly and cut down on costs and time. The School of One, an innovative education program, also uses small batches. This method lets teachers adjust lessons and curriculums in real time based on how students are performing and what feedback they give. These examples show that small batches help speed up learning and development while improving the overall quality and success of products and services. This method works across different fields, proving it's a great way to drive fast innovation and adapt to changes. Moving forward, Chapter 10 looks at how startups can grow steadily over time by using different engines of growth. Instead of relying on short-term tricks like a single ad or a publicity stunt, the goal is to create a system where current customers naturally bring in new ones. Ries talks about three main engines of growth: the sticky engine, the viral engine, and the paid engine, each offering different ways to help a business grow. The sticky engine focuses on keeping customers coming back. The idea is to create products or services that people will use again and again. The key measure here is the churn rate, which is the percentage of customers who stop using the service over time. To grow effectively, the number of new customers must be higher than the number of customers leaving. Ries compares this to compound interest in a bank, where getting more new customers can lead to rapid growth without needing a lot of advertising or viral marketing. The viral engine of growth works by making the product easy to share, so current users naturally bring in new users, like how a virus spreads. The important measure here is the viral coefficient, which needs to be more than 1.0 for the product to grow quickly. This means that each customer brings in more than one new customer on average. Products that grow virally often rely on user engagement and data instead of direct sales. The paid engine of growth involves getting customers through paid channels like advertising. The key measures here are customer lifetime value, LTV, and cost per acquisition, CPA. For this engine to work well, LTV needs to be higher than CPA, meaning the money made from each customer should be more than the cost to get them. This engine requires a strong plan for making money from customers, especially as it can get more expensive to attract customers over time due to competition. Ries highlights the importance of picking the growth engine that best matches a startup's goals and market conditions. Each engine needs different strategies to help a business grow steadily and find the right product/market fit. He also warns that relying on just one engine might not be enough in the long run. As market conditions change, there might be a need to switch engines or adapt the current one to keep the business successful. This chapter helps startups figure out the best way to grow, using clear, actionable steps tailored to each growth engine's unique features. In Chapter 11, titled Adapt, the focus moves from just building products to improving how a startup works on the inside. This chapter explains why startups need to be flexible and quick to respond, not only to what's happening in the market, but also to how their own processes evolve. Being adaptable is key to handling the unpredictable challenges that come with running a startup. The ability to keep changing and improving is what often separates successful startups from those that don't make it. One tool introduced in this chapter is the 5 whys technique. This method helps teams find the real cause of problems by asking why multiple times. Instead of just fixing the surface issues, this process digs deeper to uncover the root causes, helping to prevent the same problems from happening again. The 5 whys is more than just a way to solve problems. It encourages teams to take responsibility for their work and always look for ways to improve. The chapter also points out that just being open to change isn't enough. Startups need a clear method for analyzing what went wrong and making improvements. This approach lets teams try new ideas and change their strategies without being afraid of mistakes, knowing that learning from errors is crucial for innovation. To show how these ideas work in real life, the chapter talks about companies like IMVU, IGN Entertainment, and QuickBooks. These companies have successfully used small batches, continuous deployment, and the 5 whys to become not just reactive, but proactive in improving how they operate. The chapter ends by stressing that building an adaptable organization is an ongoing process. It requires a commitment to constantly rethinking and improving how things are done. By creating a culture of learning and adaptability, startups can better navigate challenges, grow stronger, and achieve lasting success. In the final chapters, especially Chapter 12, titled Innovate, the focus shifts to how companies can keep innovating as they grow bigger. It's often thought that as companies expand, they lose their ability to be creative and get bogged down by bureaucracy. But Eric Ries argues that with the right strategies, companies can keep their entrepreneurial spirit and continue to innovate, even on a larger scale. This chapter talks about the need to balance taking care of current customers with exploring new opportunities, and it encourages creating an environment where teams can keep experimenting, learning, and adapting. The Innovation Sandbox is introduced as a way to foster creativity within bigger companies. This sandbox is a special space where teams can experiment and innovate without being held back by the usual corporate rules. It's designed to allow for quick prototyping, direct interaction with customers, and decisions based on real data, helping large companies stay agile and inventive. The Innovation Sandbox acts as a safe place where new ideas can be tested and improved, much like in a startup. Ries also talks about portfolio thinking in managing innovation. This idea is about balancing 2 types of innovations, sustaining and disruptive. Sustaining innovations improve current products to better serve existing customers. Disruptive innovations, on the other hand, aim to create new markets and change the way things are done. Ries believes that having a mix of both is important for long-term success, helping companies stay competitive and relevant in a changing world. As the book comes to an end, Ries sums up the main ideas of the Lean Startup method: experimenting, learning from real feedback, and adapting. He criticizes traditional business models that rely too much on strict plans and lots of market research, which often don't work well in the fast-paced world of startups. Instead, he suggests a more flexible approach where businesses keep changing their strategies based on what they learn from real-world data. This way of working not only cuts down on waste, but also increases the chances of success. It could also change the way innovation is done in many industries, making companies more responsive to what customers really want. By using these principles, companies of any size can better handle the uncertainties of the market, making sure they not only survive, but also grow in the ever-changing business environment. The conclusion of the Lean Startup shows how powerful this method can be, shifting the focus from rigid planning to a more flexible approach of continuous experimentation and learning. This change helps businesses deal with market uncertainties by making decisions based on real data and customer feedback, instead of just guessing. Ries imagines a future where the Lean Startup approach becomes the standard way of doing things, leading to a more efficient and less wasteful economy. He points out that being able to learn quickly and adapt is crucial for success in today's fast-moving business world. The ability to respond quickly to changes and customer needs is seen as essential. Ries finishes with a call to action, urging entrepreneurs and innovators to adopt the lean startup principles to reach their full potential and create real value. He paints a hopeful picture of the future, suggesting that a scientific and customer-focused approach to innovation could lead to a more prosperous and sustainable world. By embracing these ideas, we can not only navigate the complexities of today's markets, but also make a positive impact on society. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring you more insightful book summaries and practical advice. Stay tuned for more content that can help you achieve your financial goals and personal growth. Thanks for watching,